Welcome back to the Final Fantasy V Four Job Fiesta 2021. This is the final fight against Exdeath and Neo Exdeath. A couple things to look at here at the beginning. We're going to get all of our defenses up. Thankfully, our White Mage has access to just about everything, and the Dancer and Ninja also have pretty good level white spells, so they can at least do the defensive stuff. They don't have access to Holy, or at least both of them don't. I think the Ninja, Lena, spent a good amount of time as a White Mage. Butts down there did learn the double wield ability, but he actually is coming into this battle with the white spell, so sadly we're not going to see any sword dances with the double weapons. It's a little bit safer to let him also have access to Shell. I made this choice mostly because I'm going to be dealing with a few Almagests and also some Grand Crosses. They're just going to be unavoidable with this party. So I wanted to be able to have as many characters as possible be able to reapply those protections, so it was better for me to have a Dancer with access to Image and Shell and Cure 2 or 3 to help overcome some of those things from the Almagests and the Grand Crosses that are going to be incoming. So he's a little bit more versatile and a less blow-uppy. So you saw right there, the Berserker has the Earth Hammer. So once in a while, she's going to cast Earthquake like that. And that's mostly for the Neo Exdeath piece that has the two dead pieces on it, the dummy parts. And the Berserker's going to be targeting those a lot, and the Berserker's going to be missing a lot of attacks if they use our Rune Axe or something. So this is at least as a way for the Berserker to do some AoE damage, all targeting damage, so that if I'm going after a specific part, at least once in a while, about 1 out of every 3 or 4 attacks, I'll be doing pretty decent damage, but 1,200 to 1,600 damage from the Earthquake attack. So that's what she's packing right there. Now that our defenses are up, we're on the offensive here with the tree form of Neo Exdeath. We've got Holy, we've got the Double Lance Chicken Knife combo there with Lena. Flare is tough one. Holy's a little bit better to defend against with our shells, and yeah, indeed, Flare is enough to take him out. I think Holy, he could have survived, but Flare was enough to take him out. So we're going to have to reapply the defenses as well, unfortunately. But that's okay. We are in the more dangerous part of Exdeath's routine here. I'd like to see him try some white holes, but we haven't seen him try so many white holes. The Berserker does have the Aegis Shield on, so she is equipped with the Aegis Shield. That is not just for the white holes, but also for some of the magic that the back piece of Neo Exdeath uses. So there's a little bit of physical evade there, but it's not as important because we have access to the image status, so having magic evade is more important for this one. So being able to actually dodge some spells with the Aegis Shield will be helpful. And Aegis Shield also defends against White Hole because of the stone protection. Aegis is the shield that I think Perseus used to defeat Medusa, I think is the legend of the Aegis Shield. So sword dances are going to be coming pretty often. We do have the rainbow dress on the Dancer. Also, I should note that Ferris, the White Mage, has equipped ribbons and is wearing both a ribbon and a rainbow dress. So the White Mage there is pretty well protected. Rainbow dress has really good armor stats. And of course, ribbon is ribbon. It gives you a boost to all your stats plus defense against almost everything. So the White Mage will be doing well. Sadly, you can't also equip the gold hairpin, so she's going to be gobbling up MP at a little bit greater rate, so she's going to need an elixir once in a while. Okay, here comes Neo Exdeath. The strategy is this. We're going to start by going after the Almagest piece that's on the bottom. I have 5 pinwheels, they're called in this game. Fuma Shurikens, they're called in other translations. I have more than you normally get by picking things up out of chests because I did a little bit of grinding just before we went into the void here, and some of the enemies right at the end in the Dimensional Castle have a rare drop of the pinwheel or the shuriken there. So the ninja will actually have some pretty good things to throw. She's also going to throw the Ragnarok, which is pretty funny. We got that from the Shinryu battle. Nobody can use it here. It's for knights and for freelancers only. So the Ragnarok is going to get thrown. So that's big damage there. The fastest I can multiply it is just by throwing damage there, and then we're just going to have to keep going on the Almagest piece. We are going to take at least one Almagest. Depending on how our sword dance luck goes, we might be taking more. We're going to take at least one Grand Cross again, and then depending on how our Sword Dance luck turns out, we might be taking more than one Grand Cross. That's just the reality of this fight, without a way to instant KO any of these pieces, except the back one, which is always the last one I take care of with the magic lamp. All right, so here we go. So the ninja is going to get ready to throw the pinwheel. Here we go. Pretty nice damage. It's more than she can do on a normal attack in one action. Okay, Sword Dance, boom. Here's where I kind of would like to, I wish I had the dual wield there, because the Sword Dance with 2 knives in your hands is pretty good. That does about 5,000. I'm setting up the magic lamp here. I want to see how the damage is. Leviathan's damage is not going to be as good as a holy, but this one might be comparable to a holy, but it looks like it's a little bit less on first glance there. So, but I do want to get the magic lamp set up to cast Odin there at the end. Vacuum Wave is a physical attack that was blocked. And here's where I'd really like to see more sword dances. Delta attack it does some damage and it turns you to stone. That also is going to take off her protection as well. So it's kind of a multiple action problem there, because after I use the soft on her, she won't have image, nor will she have shell. So she's going to need shell status to survive Almagest for sure. Almagest does about 1,600 damage when you have no shell. It does around 8 or a little bit less than 8. And then it puts you into HP leak status afterwards. So if you just take Almagest and then don't do anything, our smaller HP total characters are going to pass away from the leak status. So you see what we have there again. You got hit with a physical attack while you're waiting to reapply all those protections, so you've got to use a Phoenix down, and then we're going to have to take 2 actions to get her fully protected again. And actually 3 actions, because we would have had to heal her up. So 740, it looks like, to the characters with shell on. Almagest fired before I could get the ninja healed back up. When the sprite of Xdeath starts to shake like that, that's how you know Almagest is coming. So Life 2 saves us 1 action because it gets her to full health, but we do need 2 actions now to get her protected. We need Image and Shell. So there is an attack with the Earthshaker, and so that's what we really need to have happen more often. And it looks like we're going offensive here with the Dancer. Yeah, and we're going offensive with the Ninja as well. So I'm going to rely on a little bit of luck here to not have the Ninja get taken out again. So she's going to get the Image status. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, the Secure 3. That gets everybody else back up. I might be just willing at this point to kind of sacrifice my Ninja. And this is what I'm doing here. This is the Mirage Vest glitch. So I'm having the Ninja reapply Image times 1 by switching her weapons and switching them back again. When she takes her action here, she'll have 1 image. So you can kind of double up there. She can get an attack in, and she can apply image. And then I can get shell on her. So on the Berserker should actually survive Flare with shell on. She should be okay. Yeah, 10, 40, 10 something. Here's another Earthquake. Good, so 1,200 damage to the piece I'm focusing on, but also that damage goes to the other pieces as well, so I'll need to take out the Grand Cross and the front piece as well, the top and the front piece as well. So I've used Bahamut, but I have not used Leviathan yet. I wanted to make sure I had that in front of mind. If the magic lamp isn't set up correctly, you can get into some big trouble. Here comes Grand Cross number 1. I've got the haste shoes, the running shoes, will protect us from things like paralyze and stop. The ribbon protects from a lot of things, but look there, we have our Dancer got minied and our White Mage got turned in weak status, so single-digit hit points. So mini hit through the ribbon, and the White Mage weak status I don't think is protected by the ribbon. It's one thing. So kind of an unlucky roll there. The Ninja got off, so that means that the Ninja may have had something applied to her that was that was protected by the running shoes. So I tried to cast Heal, and I realized that that didn't go off. That didn't get cast, and it didn't help. So I needed to just, I guess, use the Luck Mallet item. So I kind of wasted an action right there. So she's thrown all of the Fuma Shurikens, the pinwheel. So here's the Ragnarok, and that actually was the best damage yet, 6,000. But that thing has a little over 50,000. These pieces all have between 50 and 60,000. They have different amounts. I think the back one has 60. Maybe the Grand Cross piece has 50 even. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but between 50 and 60, all 4 pieces. So Cure 3 to restore. I'm going to have the Dancer use Luck Mallet on himself. There's actually just a lucky attack there. There's 6 targets for the Berserker to swing at. 2 of them are dummies, and it actually went for the one that I would have liked her to go for. So I'm looking to see if I have anything else. What I'm actually looking for here is I'm looking for the Ice Brand, and I have 3 of them, but I guess the Ice Brand and the Enhancer, those Night Swords, I guess are not throwable. I thought that they were. Going into this battle, I also picked up the Ice Brands were also rare drops from some enemies that I was grinding on. I wanted to pick up just a couple levels for my character so that I got everybody over 1,000. That I thought would be a little bit safer to survive Almagest with my characters over 1,000 and with Shell. If they're like right around that like 800 or 900 mark, Almagest can take them down to pretty low hit points, and then they can die to the leak status after the Almagest. So I wanted a little bit more buffer there. That's why I did some grinding to pick up just a few levels, mostly for hit points on squishier characters. So here's Delta Attack again. Not as much fun. Right there, 366, but you notice that she did not get turned to stone. That would be your ribbon. Thankfully, the ribbon was helpful there. Sword Dance on the bottom piece. It's shaking again, which means that Almagest is going to be coming again soon, unless we can take this piece out. And indeed, we did. That holy took the piece out, and the piece stopped shaking. It's a little interesting on my console, just a stray note, on my console, if the piece is shaking while, if the sprite is shaking when that piece goes down, usually it shakes until the next piece goes down, like till the Grand Cross piece goes down. So there's a difference in the emulation there, or maybe it's just in the timing of taking that piece out when I did. So now we're working on Grand Cross, and we're going to try to rush the Grand Cross piece down through its routine. So if you can do enough damage to it, you can avoid Grand Crosses coming up, because it will, when it reaches new HP thresholds, it will reset its routine. Now each routine gets shorter and shorter, so Grand Crosses come more often, but if you're focusing all of your energies onto it, you can generally avoid Grand Crosses coming if you have enough damage output. So with some better luck on dances, we could do a little better here. Remember, I've got a 50-50 shot of Sword Dance, and then 25% each of the Jitterbug and Mystery Waltz. So half of my attacks are going to do good damage, the other half are going to be essentially nothing. I'm flipping a coin. But it's better than 1 out of 4. Okay, so laws of physics are broken. That's the Grand Cross piece. For those of you who know, that's its signal that Grand Cross is coming. So a couple of actions before Grand Cross, it prompts that. There she's applying the Mirage Vest glitch again. This is pretty good for the Berserker to do 1,300 to the top piece. There's another non-sword dance, so that one's kind of a throwaway. The Ninja and the White Mage both have reliable damage of doing 2,000 to 3,000 damage per action, per round. There we go. That's really nice for Holy. And I'm thinking that maybe I've dodged the Grand Cross. I thought maybe I had, but I don't think that we're going to, because it's just not getting the dance luck that I would have needed to do the... I think you have to do close to half of its health to make it restart for the first one. And then the next tier is not quite as far away. Apologies, I don't have the routines printed out in front of me here. I'm going by my memory. And I'm also having to use some actions here, reapplying image status. So the front piece does a lot of physical attacks, and also the back piece has some physical attacks in its routine as well. I think that gets ignored sometimes, but that back piece can do some physical attacks. It doesn't only do magic. We think of it as the magic piece, but it's got some physicals kind of tucked into its routine. So here's Grand Cross. And I usually pause it after the Grand Cross to see what happens, to see if somebody got something that I can't deal with. So we have KO there on the Berserker. We have Mini on the Ninja. I don't see Zombie or anything really nasty. And then, of course, we have Condemn on the White Mage. So this one was not as bad as it could have been. And now I'm smart enough to just use a Luck Mallet and not try to cast the Izuna spell. Don't know why I didn't think of that before. I'm going to dump a Phoenix down onto the Berserker here. The Berserker should do an attack as soon as she's revived. Yep, there we go. But she attacked a dummy target, one of the, we call them the dead targets, but You can't target them normally with your selector point, but things that are random, like the Hunter's 4x attack or the X-Fight and the Berserker attacks will hit those. And there the Berserker, again, goes after one of the dummy targets. So that's why I equipped the Earth Hammer, if you were wondering. And I did not want to use the Thornlit trick where the Earth Hammer does a lot more damage. The Thornlit puts you in permanent leak status, and it can underflow your magic. There's a whole glitch about that. I don't like using that as much in these last battles, mostly because I don't like having to worry about where the hit points are for the Berserker. And I found that the boost in damage it's a couple thousand, per. So it's not something that's like game changing. It's not quad 9s or anything, at least at the levels that I usually complete the game. If it was quad 9s or something, it'd be a little bit different. So as I was just talking there, the Grand Cross piece did go down. You can see only 2 number printouts there. So the Grand Cross piece is no more. Now we're just going to wear out the front piece. One thing you'll see that's a little bit different here, I'm doing a slightly riskier but a little more convenient strategy here at the end. Normally I do some mild hit point counting of the front piece, and I try to make sure that that 2 characters' ATB bars are full before I attack when that thing is low health. That way, if that first part goes down, the other character's ATB is already full to queue up the magic lamp to attack. The reason why is I've had runs that were lost before, and believe it or not, to taking out the first piece and then having the back piece get an action before my other characters could, even with the haste, just if the ATB is lined up just right. The back piece can get an action, and it can do like Almagest and Meteo back-to-back and just take the whole party out in one round. I'm not going to do that this run as much because I think that with Shell and with my hit point status, I think I can probably survive even an Almagest Meteo combo if the Meteo is not super unkind to me and takes out my 3 non-Berserker characters. So I think I can survive if that thing happens to get 1 action. So on this run, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to throw everything I've got at the front piece. I'm going to listen for the sound to fade away, and we're going to see what happens. But right now, it's just going to be, it's in the, I guess, the academic phase of this battle, where we're just taking the 55,000-ish hit points of that front piece down, or whatever the total is. Just taking the hit points down and hoping for the best. The Berserker there before attacked the other dummy target. There's one kind of at the front, and there's one not quite all the way at the back. So Vacuum Wave, that was actually the Aegis Shield. It's got a pretty low physical dodge. I think it's only got a 10% physical evade. So that was actually a pretty lucky dodge. She had the image status anyway, so it wasn't going to be enough to take her out. But Mystery Waltz drains MP. There's a attack of the front dummy target. So you'll see that right now it's actually half of what's remaining is dummy targets. There's 2 dummies and 2 real targets. And of course, I'm going after the top one. So you'll see more attacks of dummy targets as the battle goes on, because your odds are just not as good. So right here, I'm waiting for the White Mage to go down. That was perfect. So the White Mage was still standing. She absorbed the Vacuum Wave attack. It didn't get spread to anyone else. She was going to go down to the Condemn anyway. She went down to the Condemn. And there we go. So now we're just going to put the defenses back on the White Mage. Hopefully she doesn't get nerfed before we can get protections back up. Bolt 3, that's from that back piece. So I'd like to get Shell back on her as well. So she's got Image and Shell. And she doesn't, she's going to Cure 3. She can bring herself back up, yeah, because that way if she gets hit by a magic attack, she will survive it. And here I'm just double checking. I'm going to throw the Elixir at the White Mage so that her MP is full. This is probably, again, a little more careful than I need to be. That front piece is probably close to going down, but I want to make sure I have enough to throw those holies around. And any other protections I may need to throw in case we do get into trouble at the very end. Okay, front piece is still there, and I just listen for the audio cue of the sound of the enemy fading away. So on some of these bigger attacks, as I'm playing, I just listen. Okay, so if I don't hear the fading away, I know we're still going, still good. There's another nice physical dodge from the Aegis Shield. And I think it does have pretty low physical evade. So I'm putting the image status back on. Of course, Butts does have the same image ability as the ninja, but it's obviously much better to have the white spell, or the white ability, because you have lots more choices. There's the sound of the front part fading away. There's a few ATB ticks and even a berserker attack before that. Now, what I usually do is just test to make sure is I try to fight, and if the arrow just goes to the back piece, then I know that I can confirm the first piece is KO'd, it's gone, and then I can use the magic lamp to summon Odin and finish things off. So that is how I take care of Neo X-Death. And the strategy of saving that last piece for the magic lamp is something I do just about any party configuration that I have. Some people like to take that piece out first, so that they only have to worry about 3, but then you have to be hit point counting and you have to leave some pieces alive, and they're just none of those other pieces I want to leave alive. I don't want to leave any other of those pieces floating around. That back one is not as dangerous because most of its stuff, or I should say all of its stuff, is just single targeting. That's its big thing. It doesn't have Alma Jest, doesn't have a Grand Cross, it's just single targeting things. So that is the first run of this year. I don't know how many runs I will complete. I usually do a classic run on the console second, so that'll be coming up probably sometime later this summer. But it took me a while here. It took me to July 19th, 2021 to finish my first run because of the scheduling that I had. But I always have a good time with these, so I want to say thank you to everyone who's been tuning into these videos. Look at the description of this video for a playlist to all of the videos from this run, both commented and non-commented. I have a lot of boss videos that don't have commentary, but I usually comment on the big ones, usually the Crystals, the World 2 X-Death, and then the final battle here. Big thank you to Revenant Kyoku RK, who runs this event, and everyone else who participates, pings me on Twitter. We have a great community here. Please join us if you haven't already. If you like what you see here, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, make a comment, or hit me up on Twitter, where I am also active _ATE. We will see you in the next run.